All right, I'm working on this G-bob type shape, and obviously I don't really like heavy shapes. So what I'm gonna do with this mannequin in this shape is to come in here and slice this stuff out wet so it happens faster. So I'm holding the hair up slightly for a little elevated for softness, and then I'm just slicing through. Now I'm trying to get separation, okay? So it's not just coming in and hacking at it. What I'm trying to do is soften the shape. I'm not thinning anything. I'm adding negative space and really slicing into it. Now you have to be careful because on wet hair you're taking off far more than if you did this technique dry. But if people are terrified of like how much texture you're putting in dry, I tend to do this in a way, even though it takes off more, they see less coming off because it's coming off in clumps rather than singular strands. And so it tends to scare them a little less. So I'll have a tendency to kind of work on this if I'm, if someone's a little bit new to it. It kind of allows me to do as much texturizing as I want without, or slicing as I want without scaring them. Because what most people see is they see that you're thinning. Well, I'm not thinning. If you really watch what I'm doing, I'm just adding separation so it blends out. Now that's theoretically gonna like take some hair away, but it's adding movement at the same time and the two should balance out nicely. And then I'll just finish that slice out with a little bit of carving so I get just the kind of shape that I want here. Moving over to the strong side here. Lifting up for elevation. I've already cut the back center. Just adding a little bit of softness here. And the best thing to know is I'm cutting for a feeling. So if I wanted this real shattered and crazy, I'd be getting in here and being super aggressive. But I just want this softer and to have like lots of movement. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking with how aggressive I get with my slicing. So what you need to know here is I'm not coming in on top because that's thinning. I'm not coming in on the side, that's carving. I'm coming in right on an angle in between that and kind of getting off. And there might be a little bit of thumb depending on how well it's cutting. There might be a little thumb action in that, just closing the blade slightly as I come through. I tend to work this way towards the face. If you notice in the camera, I've done that a couple times. And I've gone the opposite a couple times, so that's more just to show the camera. But if I'm on a real guest, I'm cutting towards the face on both sides. Even though I cut that wet in 3 sections, I'm going to come through and be a little, I'm gonna section just one extra section here, so I'm not slicing too much weight at a time because I don't want to disturb their natural texture. Just getting that softness in, constantly looking at what it looks like. You can't see anything if every time you make a cut you comb it straight flat. You want to always be working into what that natural shape is for the guest. And that natural shape is largely dependent on their own density and their own texture. Once I get through that part, I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to hold balanced on the part. So if the hair was in the center, I'd be balanced here. But I'm going to hold up, get into these layers, and just slowly melt off some. So if it flips from one side to the other, it's not flipping over the length. I'm just going to do that 2 times. I don't do it in the part because then you can rearrange the focal points in the front. So I want to stay away from that. And that's it. That's wet slicing there on this graduated bob.